Hey guys, so I wanted to take a quick sec and talk about 13 sign astrology. It is one of the tools, one of my most useful tools that I have in helping people to work through their healing, work through their deep-rooted inner trauma. It's a little bit different than tropical astrology because it actually uses the true placements. So it actually uses where your sun is, whereas tropical uses the seasons. It makes all the constellations the same size, whereas all the constellations are not the same size in reality. And it also, tropical astrology also omits the 13th sign, which the sun spends an average of 11 days in every year. Funny, actually, the sun only spends about an average of 6 days in Scorpio. So the sun spends more time in the 13th sign, which is the sign of Ophiuchus or the sign of the healer, than it actually does in Scorpio. A lot of people walking around think that their sun is in a certain place. It's usually not. Most of my clients come to me and they're like, oh, I'm a Leo. And I'm like, no, you're actually a Cancer. It's usually the sign before. It's not for everybody. Some people, they do fall in a certain space where it does stay the same, but something is going to be different in their chart, whether it be their Mercury, whether it be their houses, something is going to shift. And it's going to paint a much, much, much more accurate picture for the person. So I use 13 sign astrology to help people to understand who they are on an energetic level. A lot of people running around they're battling with depression, they're battling with mental health disorders. And the truth is, guys, these disorders come from people separating themselves from who they are, from them not knowing who they are and trying to conform to society, and trying to be something that they're not, which is ultimately going to make them depressed because deep down on some unconscious level, they know that they're not being true to themselves. So I use this system to help people to understand, hey, this is who you are. And it's so funny because every reading I do, people go, wow, that makes so much more sense because that's what I want to do, that's who I want to be, but that's what society tells me is wrong, and there's usually conditioning imposed by parents, imposed by teachers, imposed by social groups, work, doesn't matter. However, there is conditioning that tries to put people in a box and it doesn't quite let them express themselves in the way that they were meant to. I also use 13 sign astrology because it helps me to understand your life path, what you came here to work through. It helps me to understand a little bit about your past lives, or if past lives is something that people don't want to look at, it'll display in childhood, so we'll look at that. It'll show me your deepest wounds, the things that hurt you the deepest inside that need to be worked through. They're usually things that cause limitations in this lifetime. And it's a fantastic tool because when you sit down and you put it on paper and it's expressed in this way, a person can look at it and go, okay, I see the sides of me that I'm neglecting and it's time to heal those things. So it's a really fantastic tool for shadow work. If you're interested in having a reading or if you're interested in learning more, feel free to message me. I really just like sharing this stuff with people because, like I said, it has helped me so much in my own journey and I've watched it help so many other people. And it's one of those things that, there's always another layer of truth. Astrology is a fantastic tool, but when it's not used properly, it can be something that becomes somewhat of like a religious type structure where people just become so devoted to it being accurate that they don't actually look at the accuracy. And that's not to downplay anyone else or to, talk on anyone else. I did regular astrology for years, so I'm definitely not going to be judging anybody on it. But if you want an accurate picture, if you want to really get in touch with yourself, if you really want to understand your path, if you really want to understand your karma and your blockages and the things that you're here to do, I do definitely recommend this tool.